pain that I felt, it's hard for people to understand. There were some wounds, and God had to go in and heal those wounds. I got wounded when I wasn't in relationship. When I got in a relationship with God, and people would hurt me or do things that just were despicable. When I looked at it from God's perspective, from the classroom perspective, I realized I was built for some things. So as I'm going through it, I would look at things from God's perspective and follow God's lead in it. It's weird when you find out what God means by something. When you do something, it has a total different effect on you. Yes, you feel the pinch, but it's not devastating pain. Yes, you know it's unthinkable, unconscionable that some people would do some things, but I saw my classroom part. For instance, I was working on a film. I was called to come in and do the camera test for this film. And when I came in to do the camera test, I was surrounded by people I didn't know. And then the few I did know didn't care for me much. So I call those type of people frenemies in the business. Those people that are not really your friends, but they're not quite your enemy, but they don't have your best interests at heart. And I was being set up and I didn't realize it. And I was wondering why, when I was doing the makeup and I had all my stuff spread out and I was asking the actress what she would like for me to order, people were laughing. And I didn't understand why they were laughing. And it was because they knew that I was just there to hold the seat for someone. So the person that was coming, that I didn't know was coming, was being asked to come by someone that I thought liked me more than hated me, if that makes any sense. But anyway, the person arrives. I realize why the joke now is on me. And I realized that she's supposed to do what I'm doing. I was just holding the seat while she was doing Fashion Week. And I needed the job, but I didn't understand why this had to go down like it did. She didn't bring anything with her. And I told her, I said, well, you know what? You can use my stuff. And she's like, oh, are you sure? And people really people were laughing so hard. If you've ever worked on a black film, sometimes it's just like, they can be cruel. And they laughed at me, this crew. And I assisted her with my stuff. And then I sat over to the side. And when she got done, I waited till she was finished with the whole camera test. And I packed up my stuff. And I walked out with my head held high. She thanked me profusely. But the person who asked her to come was pleased. And I think that God was pleased with me, that I learned how to serve my enemies. And that was a big lesson for me. And from that point on, I learned that I could serve. It's easy to serve people you like. But how is it to serve people that don't like you? And he taught me how to serve in excellence and take the low road, you know what I mean, and allow her to have the high road, and even use my equipment. Showed me what Christ did. Christ served those that even as he was on the cross and they were, offering him. He's thirsty and they're offering him sour wine. You know, that's not going to quench your thirst. But he died for them too. You know what I mean? So when you look at life from God's perspective, it's you learn not to want someone else's life, because you don't know what they had to press through in that classroom to realize what Christ did when he put on an earth suit and came through Mary. And all that means is God is trying to show us that life is doable his way. But unless you experience it, you know what I mean, then you don't understand what that means, because it's somebody else you're being punked.
Well, on the flip side of that, so you have all that, And as you said, when you realized that God must be pleased with how you were handling situations. How does one maintain humility in that situation? Because you know that the people that are around you don't have your best interest in heart, but you have chosen to bless your enemies. How do you go through life and continue to bless your enemies,